So, how you going, Alex? Thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate you spending the time. Would you like to kick us off by giving us a little introduction as to who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So earlier this year, I made the jump from corporate life to entrepreneur life, and one of the greatest decisions that I've ever made. And I run a business called Impacts. I'm the founder, and what we do is we help companies win customers and build industry leading brands on social media.
Awesome, great. This is a bit of an impromptu question, which I didn't have lined up, but it just reminds me when you just said you only made the jump at the start of this year. I didn't realize it was so soon.
Not even the
I
start. It was July.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I got a question from someone the other day saying, "Oh, when you're doing these talks, could you ask someone, is there anyone that could tell you like what is involved in taking the leap or deciding to take the leap and like how you decided?" So maybe you can cover that one for us.
Yeah, first of all, it's a lot of work. And you have to really one of the things that I think you absolutely have to have is a passion or a love for what you're doing, because
100%.
it's
Yeah.
just it's as it's a lot of long nights, it's working on the weekends,
Yeah.
specifically when you have a full-time job. And my job was paying me really well, and I have two daughters too, so I have responsibilities. I can't just jump ship.
Mm.
So I had to be strategic and plan it out. But yeah, I mean, I think I had one day off in 7 months at one point, like full day off. So it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
So you got to want it bad. You got to know that it's right for you, and you have to love what you're doing, because in the beginning you're not getting paid a ton. In the beginning you're exploring and failing and making mistakes, and you're getting punched in the face and kicked on the
Yeah.
ground, metaphorically, of course. And it's just how it is when you're an entrepreneur. There's no way to avoid it, especially in the first 6 months to a year. It's tough. It's not easy.
Part of
So,
the game. Yeah.
but on the flip side, I don't want to paint the picture to make it seem like it's like all crazy. It's amazing. I mean, the people that you get to meet along the journey, the person that you become, branching out and really
Yeah.
creating and building something on your own, the things that you learn about yourself and other people and about the business. And I mean, it's an amazing, amazing experience. And then you have full control of your destiny.
Yeah.
You get to choose what you want the business to be like, and what you want the brand to be, and how you want to build it, and what you want to stand for. It's so amazing.
Totally identify with all of that. It certainly is a lot of work, a lot of highs and lows and all the rest, but it comes with
Hmm.
its pros if you can stick it through.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So let's jump into a bit more specifically about you and what you do. So I understand you work with companies doing social media strategy, etc., and obviously a lot with the video side of things.
Yep.
Um, well, something that comes up often, we do outsourced marketing services. Something that comes up often with us is clients going, "Oh, we just want to do some marketing here. We want to do some LinkedIn posts and some of this and some of that." Tell me a little bit about why you think social media is so important for entrepreneurs, but also why they should start with building a strategy.
Well, it's becoming to a point now where it's like, in the past it was like, should we get on social media? Should we be building a digital or virtual brand? And now it's kind of like there's no if or should about
Yeah,
it. It's who's going to do it now, and who's going to do it the best and the fastest. So I think a lot of companies are going to start making the switch next year, next couple of years. The big ones now, some of the biggest companies that are successful are falling behind because they've always done things a certain way, specifically with their people on LinkedIn and social media and building personal brands. They haven't made the jump yet. And you have to. I mean, one thing's like, first and foremost, everything has become virtual and digital, and
yeah,
COVID only made that happen 50 times faster, right?
sure
like
did.
like
Yeah,
like it was all going that way anyways, though. Like we all knew, like with the businesses that are sprouting out and Amazon and things coming to our house and work from home and Zoom and more video content being out there, people can find they're looking to find you not just in person anymore, but they're looking to find you virtually. So where do you show up, and what does that look like? And so
yeah,
I think from that standpoint, like you kind of got to move with the times. I mean, you have to adjust with time, or time is going to adjust you. Like it's just like when the internet, in the 90s, when it first hit, in the 2000, when it first hit really big, there were a lot of people and companies that missed opportunities because they didn't see that as an opportunity and take it and run with it.
move with it.
And there
Yeah,
were a lot of companies that closed down because they just didn't adapt. And even if you look at a company like a Walmart, they could have started in Amazon easily with all the money and capital they had and distribution they had. They
yeah,
could have easily done that, but they didn't think it was going to be that big. Somewhere along the line, the decision making process, they didn't see it like Jeff Bezos did when he was packing books in his car and delivering them to different places, as a beginning entrepreneur. So I think this is a pivotal moment for entrepreneurs, for companies to
Yeah.
really take this social media thing, grab it by the horns and like run with it and really build a unique brand, because the live events aren't happening anymore. And I don't know if they're, I'm sure they'll come back and stuff, but it's not going to be how it was before. And so I think people really have to get serious about where where is your brand? Where does it show up? And what does it look like? And does it represent what you say that your company really is?
Yeah. 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 Totally agree. So where do people start? So if they say they haven't really been in this space at all, they've very much been the old school sales, a bit of telesales, a bit of door knocking, all of that. And then suddenly they're like, oh, COVID hit. This is really like 10xing. We've got to get on this bandwagon. Where are they going to start? First steps, basic.
You always start with your brand. Like, what is your brand and who is your audience? So you have to sit down and think about, you know, who are we, and what do we represent, and what are we trying to create, and what do we stand for? What's important to us? Why are we in business in the first place? I think you got to get really grounded, look in the mirror, that kind of stuff. But then you quickly look to your audience and you think about, okay, who is our potential customer? Where are our customers at? Where do they hang out at? What platforms are they on? And we probably should be on those platforms. And if you
Yeah.
can be on the ones that your customers are on, and then also have good organic reach, so you don't always have to run ads and things of that nature. I think of a place like LinkedIn as being a perfect place for that.
Yeah.
Depending on what you sell and your products and services, TikTok could be a great place for that, right? But specifically for B2B people, it is a place like LinkedIn where the organic reach is still really good, and most of the customers are on that platform. So you got the brand, you got the audience, you know what they think about, what they care about, what matters to them, what their pain points are, all that stuff. You figured out where they hang out at, where they're at. And then you got to put together a content strategy to say, what are we going to talk about that's going to bring our audience in, build trust and credibility with them at scale, because we're delivering value consistently, we're standing out, we're telling the story of our company and our brand, and it's making them want to work with us. It's making them want to learn more about us, to inquire about what we do. You have to start there.
That's excellent. And yeah, I think it's probably one of the most key things that we're finding is, yeah, you can't just jump in halfway through. You really have to start with those basics. And
Yes, of
it's a
course.
lot of
Because
work, but you have to do it.
if you're just throwing out content left and right, and there's not really a purpose or a mission or a brand that you're trying to build, you may build something, but 6 months later, you may look back and think, shit, this isn't what we wanted to build.
What have
This
we
really
built?
doesn't represent us. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like anything, you got to like look at think about the foundation and what you want it to be, and then put together that roadmap of, okay, now we know what it is that we're trying to build. Now, how do we get there the fastest and in the best way possible?
And then off you go.
And then off you
Cool.
go.
So that's awesome. So you obviously, one of the like I've obviously like what digested a lot of your content, and typically if I'm having a bad day and I want to smile, I'll look up your profile and find your latest video. So you do a lot of video.
Yeah.
Where do you think video fits in the piece, and why do you think it's such an important part of a good strategy?
Yeah, it's for me, it's that you have to have it in your strategy at some point. It doesn't mean you have to do a video every day. I don't do a video every day, but you have to have video in your strategy if you really want to build a leading brand, because
Yeah.
video, the way you interact with someone, it's just like this. If we're doing this right now, but it's over email, it's a totally different vibe. I don't really get a feel for who
Is
you
there a
are. You don't.
vibe?
Yeah, if the reason it is a vibe, right? That's a great point.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's not even a vibe. It's just literally letters being typed
Yeah.
out. And
Yeah.
so you get it though. I mean, it's a different experience. I would challenge any salesperson the same way I would say, hey, go try to close sales doing, text or email only versus
Yeah.
getting on a Zoom call with somebody, being able to, so it's a different experience. You allow people to get to know who you are, what you stand for, the characteristics, your personality. You get to show the things that make you unique. You get to show those things. Like, that's why I incorporate some of the humor and the skits and the music and that kind of stuff. Because for me, that's me being my authentic self. I'm just being me. I'm unleashing my creative. I'm showing that in my content. And I think that's one of the coolest things. It's interesting when you hop on a call with somebody, if you've never seen any of their content, if they've never done video,
Yeah.
you really are kind of like guessing on what they're like and how they roll and what do they stand, what personality. I don't know what this person's going to be like, versus, oh no, I've seen their last 5 to 10 videos. I seem like they're this kind of person, right? You have a little bit more of an understanding of kind of who this person is. And the reason that is because you're building that trust with that person. You're building some credibility with that person. So that's what you're doing at scale with video. You're getting all these videos out there, and people feel like they're getting to know you one video
Yeah.
at a time. So customers are more apt to reach out to you because of that connection. It's just a
People buy
connection.
from people, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's human. It's humanization of the whole process.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's even so, I mean, I think it's even so much more important and perhaps gained so much credibility over the last 6 months with everybody being so
Yes.
stuck in their own little worlds, as you're saying before, at home the whole time.
Yep.
Um, that's cool. Okay, so you mentioned about obviously you do like your skits and you really let your creativity shine through. I love it. I think it's great. Speaking from my own experience, it's not easy to get to the point where you're like, oh, we can just do whatever we want on video. So how do you get to the point where you're like just able to be yourself, to just chill out, do your thing?
Well, and I don't, I know what you're saying by that, but I don't just get on there and do whatever I want to do, right? I still gotta have,
You still
I
have a
still gotta
plan, a
have,
strategy, yeah.
yeah. It's very strategic. People may not see that because it's the humor and the acting and stuff, but
Yeah,
behind the scenes, there's really a lot of strategy that goes into it. And I'm very purposeful about what's the message that I want to drive home, and how do I want it to make my customers or potential customers or audience and community feel. Where am I trying to take them? How am I trying to get them to think about it? How do I tie it in back to my product or service so that it
yeah,
generates lead revenue? So there's a lot that goes into it. But to answer your question, I mean, how do you get to that place? There's not really a shortcut. You have to consistently do it over and over and over again. So I
yeah,
think about back to my first few videos that I ever made. I mean, they were nowhere near the type of stuff that I'm making today. I talked too long. I didn't open it up the right way. I was rambling. I had 20 different points, so I wasn't clear on how I was going to take this video and convert it to business. I
yeah,
just, there was a lot of things that I didn't do. But one thing that got me to this point is I kept on putting out video content. I never
yeah,
stopped, right? It's just like getting up, it's just like shooting a basketball if you're a basketball player, or getting up to the plate if you're a baseball player. How do you hit a home run? How do you shoot 3-pointers? Like how do you hit nothing but net all the time? You got to take a ton of shots, right?
and
Like you
keep
have to
practicing.
get up to the plate a ton of times. And yes, you're going to strike out many, many times. Yes, you're going to airball it many, many times. But you're never going to hit those consistent shots or hit those home runs if you're scared to get up to the plate and take the shot, and or
Yep,
take the or hit the ball. So it's the same thing. Like you got to be willing to kind of fail and make mistakes along the way. The key is, are you progressing over time? Are you getting better? Obviously, you can hire somebody that can expedite that process for you, right? Just like we
yeah,
can hire a trainer, I can hire you to expedite some of the business processes. So you've always got the option to bring someone on to help you make that process less stressful, less painful, and easier and faster. But even if you're just going to do it yourself,
it's
it's
got to show
repetition.
up.
It's
Yeah.
repetition.
Brings me back to Rabbi was telling me about how he does the 20, is it the 20-day video challenge?
Yeah.
It gets people
Yeah.
to literally just record a video every day for 20 days in a row, no matter doesn't matter what it's about, how crap it is, whatever, just literally for the purpose of that, practicing,
Yep.
making you do it.
Well, it's the quality versus quantity kind of debate, and people are like, "What's more important, the
Yeah,
quality aspect or the quantity?" And the reality is, when you're first starting off, it's more of the quantity. Like
yeah,
you need to get out and figure out, hey, what's my style? What works best? What is my audience? How does it resonate with them? How can I best connect with people? What unique traits and abilities can I bring out and showcase in my content? What's this? All the different things that you're trying to figure out when you first get out there. Then it does become about quality, because then if you're consistently putting out content, everyone at the top level is putting out content consistently, right? So
yeah,
then what's going to separate you is the quality, is the you bringing out unique things, is the you being bold and trying new things, standing out from everyone else making
yeah,
noise. So it's both, but in the beginning, that's why they push the video challenges in the beginning. And that's why I tell new clients, they're like, should I do this and do that? I'm like, dude, it's your first video. Just get it out. Literally pull out your phone and just make a freaking video. Cause some of it's just the
yeah.
mental hurdle of people getting over that. And they're like, yeah, but I want it to look like this and this. And I like to see your videos. And I'm like, no, you see my videos because I made hundreds of videos and coached hundreds of people on how to make videos. That's not what my videos were when I was in your spot. So
Yeah,
we're gonna get you there faster, no doubt about it. But the first step is just like get used to just putting out content and then progress. Right. That's it.
go from there. That's cool. And so now, obviously, your videos are like probably up here compared to where a lot of us sit. I'm just intrigued. This isn't a specific question at all. Just intrigued. how do you have someone doing all your video editing? Do you do it all yourself, or do you have like a really epic program that you just palm this off to, or how does it work?
Yeah. So I have a team now that takes really, really good care of me. I mean, it would be tough to do what I do now from a business standpoint without them
Yeah,
because I don't have the time to sit there and edit the videos like
so
that.
time
But
consuming. Yeah,
it's so time consuming. Yeah. And you know how it is. You got to spend time doing revenue generating, business
yeah,
moving forward type activities. You can't be spending time doing the things that you should outsource. Right. But in the beginning, I did all my video editing because I had the time and
yeah.
I was just starting off. And so I could leverage my time to do that so I could win clients. Then you start winning clients, the business starts growing, you start scaling it, and then you figure
And
out,
you can
okay,
afford to outsource.
now I can't spend time doing
Yeah,
that, but now I've got the revenue, I've got the money, so I can outsource and pay someone to do it. So yeah, for basic, I mean, I teach video editing and stuff. And so, because I know how to do it quite well, not like
yeah.
the pros out there, but I know how to do it enough to do it most videos. So I teach how to do it, but then I also teach how to outsource it because I think it's really important. And it depends on where you're at in your business and what your strategy is. But you need to know how to do some things yourself, but you really need to know how to outsource as well so that you can spend time in your business, making sure that the business is growing.
100%. Awesome. Cool. Well, that brings me to the end of all of my questions for you today. Do you want to just finish this off by giving me a little spiel on sort of how you work with people and how you can,
Yeah.
so if you're going to help me, what would you do? Obviously,
So there's
pull to bits my terrible video skills to start with, but other than that,
so I work with people in companies in two different ways. And like from a high level standpoint, it's just I can teach you how to do everything and you can sort of do it yourself route,
yep,
or come in and sort of do it for you. So the first way is I run a 5-week LinkedIn video boot camp where I take you through A to Z and teach you everything specifically on LinkedIn for this, but it applies to all social media.
yeah,
How to optimize a profile, how to create a content strategy, how to record videos, what equipment, how do you make it interesting, creative, how do you stand out, and then video editing, outsourcing, how to take that and turn it into revenue for the company. Because, there's people creating content, but is it generating actual revenue? That's the sweet spot. You got to know how
yeah,
to do
yeah,
that, right? So I teach all that to people. It's a community. We do it together. It's hands-on. We do live sessions once a week. There's video modules. So it's kind of a mix of both. There's that, which is great for some people that want to actually learn the skills and do it themselves. The second option is I come into a company, and this is more of a monthly retainer type thing, where I partner with the company and I say, cool, I'm going to create the content strategy or help you create the content strategy. I'm going to guide you through that process. I'm going to understand your brand, what you're trying to build, all that stuff. We're going to put together a strategy together. And then I'm going to help you kind of walk through some of this content creation process, whether it's scripting videos, whether it's driving certain points home. They're going to record. So like you would record the actual content because we want your face to be on the brand, right?
yeah,
And so whether it's from a podcast, a Zoom call like this, whatever it is, then my team takes it back. We put the creative on it, the subtitles, the banners, the making it interesting in the first 3 to 5 seconds.
yeah.
We do all that work. We kick it back to the company, and then it's ready to post. And then we track the numbers, the KPIs, and we make sure that we're
Wow,
progressing
that's
along
awesome.
the way. Yeah.
Full package.
So,
Cool. All right,
yeah.
that's excellent to know about. Definitely a very, very useful service, which covers a lot of the pain points of many of our clients, to be honest.
Does it? Yeah.
Um, but that's cool. All right, awesome. Well, that brings us to the close of our chat today. So thanks so much for your time, Alex. Really
You
appreciate it.
bet.
And
Good chatting with you.
we will no doubt see you again at some point.
You bet for sure.